In today's video, I'm going to show you how to design a beautiful pin using Canva. I'm going to show you where to find free images, how to upload those images, how to actually add text to your pin, and overall, how to design a beautiful, professional looking pin for Pinterest. So if you are a small business owner looking to use Pinterest as part of your marketing strategy, this video is for you. And if you are new to my channel, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell, because I do release a new training every single week, so you want to make sure not to miss anything. Alright, so here we are on my computer, and I'm going to walk you through how to actually step-by-step create this pin in Canva. So what I've done is I've gone into canva.com and I already have an account. If you don't have an account, it is super easy to sign up and it's free. Just go to canva.com and follow the steps. So once you are in Canva, what you want to do is just go to the search bar at the very top and just click Pinterest pin. And go ahead and select that. So that'll give you the exact dimensions of what Pinterest recommends, which is 2:3 ratio. Okay, so what you have here is a bunch of templates which you can use as a starting off point. But what I like to do is I kind of like to create my pins from scratch. So if you just go to the very top right here and create a blank one right here. Okay, so ideally what you want to do is create about 3 to 5 pins minimum per post. So when you are in here, to make it easy, just keep adding pages, add page. So we'll just do 3 for now. So now you have 3 blank pages. Another thing to keep in mind when you are creating a pin is that it kind of follows your brand. So whatever's on your website and your other social media, what your color palette is, you can put that into Canva and use those colors. So first, what we want to do is we want to find a beautiful image to use as our background. So here are a couple of options. You can go into Photos, and this will show you several different photos of what you can use, and depending on what you're doing. So let's say, for example, for what I do, which is social media marketing, I'll just write social media, and I'll scroll through these images to see which one would be an appropriate background. Now, before we go into the next step, I just want to let you know that Pinterest marketing is something that I offer. So if you do want to hire me to do pins for you, you can do that, and I will leave my email in the description below so that you can email and inquire about my services. So it doesn't have to be exactly what it is that you do, but something that could represent it. So for me, it could even be a person on their phone. So I can just type in iPhone. And then I can use an image like this or something like this. Every time it does say Pro, that's the paid version. You can get a monthly subscription to Canva for, I believe it's around $12, or you can purchase each image. So for example, this one says it's $1.39 Canadian. So I can actually, if I wanted to use this image, I could actually just purchase it. However, there are several free options as well. So for example, this one. So all you want to do is drag and drop it, and voila. If you want to move it around, you just double click on it, and then you can kind of recenter it. So if you want to do it like this, there we go. And then for the other pins, you just kind of want to do the same thing, just kind of drop an image in there. Okay, so now we have our images set up. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to add an element, which is just usually like a square or a rectangle kind of thing, because if you put text right over an image, it's not going to look too good. And let me show you what I mean. So if I just go and click the text option, and I click heading, and I write social media marketing, it's really hard to see that it says social media marketing because the image in the background is kind of taking over. If I was to move it up here, it would be a little bit easier to see. But the thing is, you really want your text to be very visible on each pin. So this is why we're going to add an element. So let me just get rid of this for now. And I'm going to go into element section. And usually I just use this one, which is the very first one under shapes. So if you go to shapes and see all, there are several different shapes that you can use. I really like this one because I find that it's the most flexible one. So it'll just automatically pop up whatever color. You can go in and change the color. I always prefer to go with a very neutral color, so either a white or a gray. So I'm going to use white just to help the text really stand out. And then you just hold down your mouse and you drag it around. So, and the beautiful thing about Canva is it does show you what is centered. So see the pink and purple lines, like it will tell you, you know, where you want to put it. So right here, I'm going to take it, I'm going to drag it down to about here. And then that tells me that that's centered, right? Because we have the pink lines all around. And then I'll take the bottom part right here and I'll just kind of drag it down. So you can drag it down and make it perfectly even, but I like to do just a little bit less because at the bottom, I like to actually put my website or logo, which is definitely something you want to do on every pin because after a while, you want people to be able to recognize your pins, not just by the color, but also by either your logo or your website. If you don't have a logo, no problem. A website is more than enough. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and actually put that website at the very bottom. And I just drag it down. And again, the lettering is not ideal to have it black, so I'm going to go up here, I'm going to change the text color, and I'm going to make it a white. And that kind of stands out, but if it doesn't stand out enough, what you want to do is go over here to Effects, and just use the lift option, which sometimes helps the lettering stand out a little bit. If that doesn't do it, you can play around and see what are the other options that can help you make that text stand out. And then I'm going to just make it a little bit smaller and drag it over to the darker section so that it is visible what the website is. Now, if you feel like it's not enough, what you can do is you can click on the background image and then you can go into Adjust. And you can adjust the brightness just a little bit, so that way your website does stand out a little bit more. So that definitely helped. If that didn't help, you can always put another element behind the actual text just to help it stand out that way, but I don't feel like that's always necessary. I think that this looks fine just the way it is. Okay. So next, we want to write the copy. Okay, now before we go into actually writing the copy, I do want to show you that there are other options on uploading images. So if you go into Upload section right here, you can actually upload your own images. So these are some images that a client of mine provided me to do for her pins. And so I simply uploaded them by clicking Upload Media, and I uploaded them from my computer. Now, if you don't have any images, what I recommend that you do is go to Google, and then you just want to write free stock photos. And you go ahead and Google that. So there are a couple of different options here. I think in one of my past videos, I showed you guys Pixabay. So right here, I like this one a lot. And again, simply you just want to write maybe iPhone, or for me, again, with social media marketing, iPhone is a very popular one. And then you just simply scroll through the different images and you select whichever image you like that you find is appropriate for you. And let's say, for example, this one, I'm going to click on it. And it's a free download. I simply click free download and I download it in the resolution I want. I am not a robot. Okay, so, and again, I would just go back into Canva. I would go to Upload Media. All right, so here it is where I've uploaded it. Simply drag it over, double click to recenter wherever I want it, and that's it. Okay, so now you know how to get images if you don't feel like Canva has enough of a selection or you want to just upload your own. All right, so next is the text, which is the most important part. But before we get into the text, another option I want to show you here is if you do want to show a little bit more of your background image, you just simply click on the element, which is right here. And you want to change the transparency, which is right up here. And you want to make it around in the 80s, I would say. You just want to kind of play around and see what looks good. You can always change it later after you've added the text. So the key thing about pins and writing copy for your pins is you want to write something that is going to pique curiosity. I'm going to click the text here. I'm going to add a heading, and you can change the font right up here. I really do like the Anton font. I find it very nice and bold. And for the heading, you really do want to make it bold and you want to make it stand out. So for example, and also I do often like to make my headings capital letters. So you can just change that right here, quick and easy. I'm going to drag it up here. Now, if writing copy is brand new to you, you really want to kind of keep it simple and just basically write how to, right? So how to create the perfect pin, how to set up a Pinterest account, how to start social media marketing, whatever it is, how to is a great way to start if you are brand new to copywriting. All right, so if I'm creating a pin for this particular video, I'm going to say how to create the perfect pin. Okay, so obviously that went out of the box a little bit, so I just want to kind of make it a little bit smaller and then drag it to the middle. And I probably want to make it bigger, so I can go right up here and make it bigger. If I want to do it quicker, I can just do this, go down, maybe try 88. Nope, it could definitely go bigger than that. Let's try 120. Oh, that's a little bit too big. So I want to just shrink it down a little bit. Okay, perfect. So how to create the perfect pin. So what you can also do is make some of the letters stand out. So for example, if you want perfect to be a slightly different font, you can do that by highlighting it and you can change the font. Now, the thing is, what I like to do after I've kind of written it out and I see approximately where it'll go, I actually like to just kind of delete it because I want to be able to change it, move around, have a little bit more flexibility with it. So I'm actually going to delete both perfect and pin. Okay, so now that we've deleted that, I'm going to actually go ahead and click text, add heading. Am I right? The perfect pin, and I may not want to keep perfect pin altogether. I might want to change pin to a different font, but let's just kind of play around with it and see what looks good. So I'm going to go back into here. And sometimes for just one word or two words, you can use script. So as you see here, I've already written the word script. It'll show you the different options. So you can do handwriting, corporate, display headings, paragraphs. So if I write script in here, I can kind of see what might look good. So the perfect pin. Now be very careful with a lot of these fonts because for Pinterest, you really want to make sure that people are easily able to read whatever the pin says because that is the most important part. If people can't make out a word or two, they're just going to scroll past your pin and they're not going to want to click on it. I mean, fanciness and making the pin look pretty is very important, but not at the expense of actually being able to read the pin. So be very, very careful. So this is pretty okay. Let me just try this one. I don't mind the word perfect being in this font, but maybe pin might be a little bit too much. So I'm going to actually delete it, and I'm going to just kind of move this around. Make it a little bit bigger. And then I might want to change the actual color of this font. And you can go to this color board and you can type in right here whatever your brand colors are, or you can simply move this around and see what looks good. So here are all the reds, and if you want to get to the greens and the blues, you just simply scroll here. So let's just go with a nice blue, maybe something a little bit darker. Perfect. Okay, so we have how to create the perfect, and I'm going to add another heading. I'm going to say pin. Move that up. Make it bigger so that it really stands out. And I can do a slightly different font for this one. It won't be script because that might be a little bit too much. So I want to keep it simple, so I'm going to just kind of keep it this similar black color, although I do want to make it maybe just a slightly different shade of black. So I'm going to just go ahead into the colors, and I'm going to just simply scroll up until I feel that that's good. Okay, perfect. And then for the pin, I'm going to just go ahead, and once you've actually found a new color, it'll show up under document colors, and you just want to click on that, and that way this color and the top color is matching. Now if you want to add more elements, you can go here and you can actually find things under featured or lines or shapes. It's always nice to use lines as well in pins. So for example, I'm going to use this line right here. So if you want to put any kind of subheading underneath the pin that explains the pin a little bit more, you can do that just by kind of pulling the line right here, making it a little lower. I would probably make this part a little bit, just a little bit smaller so that more can fit underneath for the subheading. Put that up. I'm going to make it match this one. So I'm going to go into colors here and right here, so that way, perfect. And then I'm going to go into text. I'm going to say subheading. So the heading should really grab the person's attention and for them to say, yes, this is exactly what it is that I want to learn. And then the subheading should explain a little bit more about why they should click on your pin. So this is going to be a step-by-step. And actually just saying step-by-step tutorial is more than enough in this situation. You can definitely make it longer, a little bit more explanatory, but I feel that that fits in there really nicely. And the font looks really good, so I'm not going to play around with that. All right, so here is how to create the perfect pin. Step-by-step tutorial. It has my website on it, so it's branded. It has a nice image in the back. If I did want to play around with the transparency of that, I could. If I also wanted to change the color of that, I could to something like a gray or a light gray. That doesn't look too bad either. But I am going to stick with the white just because I do feel that the colors pop out a little bit more. Now, if you wanted to just take this a step further, you can click on the kind of fancy font that you did and go into effects, and again, just kind of do something that'll make it stand out just a little bit more. Actually, that looks nice, so I'm going to leave that. So there's our pin, and I would do the same thing with the other couple of pins that I have. Then what I would do is I would name that pin at the very top, because when you are pinning on Pinterest later, which is I'm going to show you that in another tutorial, but you want the pin to be named with rich keywords, which again, I will do another video explaining all of that. But for this, I'm going to just actually name the pin what it says on the pin itself. And then I want to go over here and download it. I want to do PNG because that's really good quality. And if you only want to download one at a time, you can. So what you do is you select only page one, click done, and click download. Okay, so that is it for this video. I hope that you found it easy to follow along. Now in my next video, I'm going to show you how to take this pin and properly upload it to Pinterest, write a description, and link it back to your blog or your video. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.